On this week's episode of Marketing O'Clock,
we find one-sided advertiser that won't get a booking to the next Google Marketing Live, thanks to their DOJ testimony.
Plus, a new update is coming to X, and you just might give a buck.
Is Google going Discoverboard? Why, you might be seeing a lot more Google Discover. And I'm Canadian now.
All on today's show.
Welcome, you are listening to Marketing O'Clock. Just stay tuned. Digital marketing news, but let's get specific. Digital ads, SEO and analytics, social media and more. Pretty much everything that'll make your website perform. With new shows every Friday. We give you the news with sass and puns and definitely hot takes. Thank you for tuning in. You know what time it is. It's officially Marketing O'Clock. Settle in, sit back, keep it locked.
Hey there, I'm Christine Zernheld.
AKA Shep.
I'm Jessica Lee Budd.
And I'm Greg Finn.
And it is officially Marketing O'Clock.
Here on October 20th, 2023.
All right, before we get into the digital marketing news of the week, what's happening with you, Shep?
I had the most fabulous weekend attending the Eras Tour movie with my 2-year-old, and I'm here with my souvenir cup.
Was that full of soda or popcorn?
Neither, because I had to go, Jill Fetcher had to go back to the movie theater to get it because they were sold out at the time, but this is for drinks.
Wow.
And let me just tell you how humbling it is to be told, "Mommy, don't sing," by a 2.5-year-old in public. Truly humbling.
Wow. Because she wanted to hear it, or because...
I think she just wasn't happy with what she was hearing.
Aww.
Some other quotes. When Taylor dressed up for Willow, Eliza asked if she was dressed up as a witch for Halloween. When she went out to sing Enchanted, Eliza asked if she was dressed up as a princess for Halloween. When asked what Eliza's favorite Taylor Swift song was, she responded, "Bingo," as in Bingo was his name-o.
Does she do that? I bet it's a great cover.
That's her best cut.
We spent a lot of time in the hallway playing School. 3 hours is a long time for a 2-year-old.
So when did this movie start?
It came out on Friday.
Okay.
You're asking when we went?
Yeah.
We went on Sunday. We hit the ground running each night. We hit the Sunday matinee at 2:30 p.m.
Nice.
And they say the greatest films of all time are never made, but they are. And it was The Eras Tour starring Taylor Swift.
The best film ever made?
I mean...
Yes. I'm quoting her lyrics. You guys you're not Swifties.
Titanic, Schindler's List...
Jack Frost 2.
And you guys are going to think I'm
Mall
crazy.
Cop.
First of all, if you're just started listening to the show, I'm sorry, but I am the biggest Swiftie. I've been talking about this for 5 years, okay?
She invited the biggest Swifties to a private premiere party.
Okay.
And
she hasn't done that for
there.
3 albums.
She's the biggest Swiftie I know.
But my point is, I almost bought... My daughter will be 3, almost 4 when Taylor comes back and she's in Toronto. And I was really thinking about buying her a $400 ticket. And I'm really glad that I didn't after this movie experience.
Because mommy's going to sing, right?
Yeah. She could not sit for that long.
All right, so I've got something embarrassing. I'm trying to get my soccer team to be a team and come around and really be cohesive because I've got 3 different teams combined into one this year. I'm like, let's play music during the warm-up. And they're Taylor Swift. So I play Taylor Swift when we warm up in soccer all the time.
Do you want a specific warm-up playlist?
They just said play Lover. And then
okay.
I know she's...
That's a great choice.
I actually like that one.
Well, but I know she's got such a dirty, foul mouth, that Taylor, that I have to look for clean versions of her song.
It's not that hard.
She swears twice.
It's not a great influence for them.
And with you as a coach, I doubt they haven't heard these things.
I am the world's best coach. From that side of things, I don't,
Just from a cursing standpoint.
Yeah, I don't emulate, I just look for the clean versions of her song. I'm a good role model.
I'm happy for you.
She's not.
And you guys, don't forget, if you haven't ordered your Shake the Cushions merch, get your cushions shook and order this merch.
Shop.marketingoclock.com. We've got our shirts that are very colorful little
Kindergarten
couches.
colors, some would say.
Kindergarten colors.
Or
couch?
colors?
Bleep that.
Can I not say that?
Bleep that. Bleep that. No, bleep that too. These are kindergarten colors with some nickels falling out of the cushions.
And if you did order one already, Be sure to tag us on social. Thank you, Boris. Looking good in your merch.
You didn't ask me what's going on in my life.
Oh, what's happening?
You didn't put anything in the notes. I got something right here. It says RC, which stands for raw chicken, because this is disgusting, but I made chicken yesterday, and I love the way a piece of raw chicken feels in your hand. And I didn't know that about myself until yesterday.
Tables. Call the police. We need help.
It's so hefty.
Literally, my least favorite thing about living is touching raw chicken.
It's it was a chicken breast. I don't know if different chickens are different, or different chicken parts. I took it out of the package. I was expecting to be disgusted, and I was like, wow.
Can I just say something? This is the same person that at one point was on your work X or Twitter at the time, was putting out nothing but slaughtered cows. You look at her Twitter X, whatever, it was just nothing but slaughtered animals.
I did it from the Cypress North account by accident.
She was saying, don't eat meat. Look at this poor baby cow.
And now she's out here being I like fondling dead birds.
Unbelievable.
I didn't say that. The chicken was already dead. So I gave it purpose. I enjoyed every aspect of that. And it was delicious. I put taco seasoning on it. It was amazing. But just that heft, rinsing it under water, I had a great time.
You need help.
Shep, should we cancel the show this week? Maybe. I'm distraught.
First up in the news this week, big organic update here. Google is experimenting with the inclusion of Discover on its desktop homepage that shows recommended content alongside the company's traditional search box. So this is an article from TechCrunch. Barry Schwartz was also covering this week on Search Engine Roundtable. And we have a couple of screenshots of different layouts they're testing. So one has a bunch of different Discover stories in the feed on the left-hand side under the search bar populating. And then on the right side, they have some stonks there. And then there's another screenshot here that I guess this is the same. Maybe it's just cut off, but there's again a Discover feed story on the left and then stonks on the right. I don't really love what they're doing with the layout.
No, the second
and how it's the
better.
all white background.
No, I don't like it either.
But I don't mind the idea of this in general. I think it would make sense to log into Google if it's your homepage and see some things that you're interested in. I'm kind of surprised they haven't done it earlier, to be honest. More news about Discover from Glenn Gabe, at Glenn Gabe on X. He posted, interested in Discover. I'm seeing more examples of Google driving users to the SERPs from within Discover via a magnifying glass search box. It's a little deceptive since it looks like you can enter a search there, but tapping it takes you to a fresh SERP for that query. So he has two examples here. In the one on the left, it's above an article about an MLB game, and you can click this search box and it'll take you to the SERP for MLB scores. But he's thinking maybe people are clicking on it thinking they could type something else in, and you can't. It would just go straight to that. So
once you get there, you can type something else in, but it's extra work.
And I think this is funny because when we were talking about that first piece of news about Discover, it is Google's search page now bringing in Discover. And then the second piece of news is Google's Discover now bringing in search. Mm-hmm. They're just trying to, keep people around. They are.
Anyone have $1? No, you might need one though if you plan on joining X. So from Fortune, X, the platform formerly known as Twitter, will begin charging new users $1 a year to access key features, including the ability to tweet, post, reply, and quote, according to a source familiar with the matter and later confirmed by the company. So starting Tuesday, this fee will apply to new users in New Zealand and the Philippines, and the program, which has been dubbed Not a Bot, is meant to curb bots and spam, not necessarily aimed at generating revenue, although if everyone gives you $1, you'd have a lot of dollars. You will, it's important to note, still be able to access the platform and read others' posts for free. It's just the ability to post and interact that is going to cost you, in theory. X's support account did post something on X stating that this new test was developed to bolster our already successful efforts to reduce spam, manipulation of our platform, and bot activity while balancing platform accessibility with the small fee amount. It is not a profit driver. So there's no word on whether this will roll out in other countries, though I can imagine it will, because if we're combating spam and bots, they can come from anywhere. And to reiterate, this is only for new users. Existing accounts are not subject to the fee, at least that we know of right now. in theory, it's a negligible amount of money, but it will be interesting to see, I think, how this impacts growth for the platform long term. Because there's the barrier of entry of needing a credit card. So you've got to ask your parents if you're 17, right? You don't have a credit card. And just the extra step at sign up as well might frustrate folks. And other people, even if you're old enough to have a credit card, they're skeptical of giving their credit card info over to the platform. The article cited a fun exchange where somebody said, do not give Elon your credit card information. And then Hannah Gaius, at Hannah Gaius on X, said, okay, I'll give him yours instead. The person said, you don't have mine. And Hannah said, that you know of. So Hannah be shopping just in time for the holidays. But I don't know. I feel like I would give anyone $1 if I really wanted to use something. But it just seems, again, I understand they got to put things in place and they're trying to combat spam in lots of ways. This is just one of them. But I don't know. Would you pay $1 a year? It seems like nothing, but
anytime I have to take out my wallet, it's like just another step. Yeah. So I think it depends how much you want to use the platform.
Yeah. I mean, I just read it for the news. I don't ever post on it, so I wouldn't give him $1. But
yeah, I mean, I think he's trying to combat bots. Mm-hmm. He can't figure it out. Like, that's one thing that's pretty clear. It seems like all the spam that's coming is from non-blue check marks. I follow Menahem, and he's been posting a bunch of facts about Israel, and he's getting a ton of hatred coming his way from what appears to be all non-verified folks and bots that just hit things. So how do you combat that? Like, at some point, if it's you can still use the platform, you can still read everything, you can still be a daily active user by logging in. But if you want to tweet, it's $1. That seems fair. It's like it's his platform now, so he can do what he wants to it. But I don't think that's really going to be a huge hindrance to people, and that would 100% stop bots, because especially if you like limit credit cards, things like that, and you make it that's a huge barrier to entry.
Yeah, bots don't have bucks. Greg, what else is happening?
Well, just another quick DOJ update here, not as long as last week, but there was a few interesting uncoverings, I would say, from the past week, and from Kashida Vasant at Kashida Vasant on Twitter. She is there at the trial, and she says, couldn't help gasp loudly when Booking.com's chief marketing officer characterized the company's relationship with Google as a benevolent dictatorship during testimony at the search monopoly trial. And then the Booking.com person went on to say, which is a completely one-sided relationship. And from Jason_Kint on X, who has great coverage of the DOJ antitrust suit against Google, went on to say that there was an internal email thread from the chief media officer at JP Morgan, that this person was one of the most sophisticated, sharpest advertisers, and that they didn't appear to know that Google doesn't actually use quality score and instead has that LTV value. Guess what, Jason? Nobody knew that.
I know.
You couldn't possibly know that.
No, unless you listened last week.
I saw a post on Instagram from like an influential PPC person recently that was like, do you know how the Google Ads auction work? And it like broke it down how we were always preached and understood it worked. But it was like after that story came out last week.
Just wait till
it's all lies.
I know.
And I wasted so much time trying to understand it.
Oh, shit.
I had to write a book and like explain it, and it doesn't make any sense. And it's all lies.
Well, speaking of maybe some hidden truths, let's call it, Anthony Hickman had found a few more documents from the trial, and one of those was titled "Randomization We Can Explain to Advertisers." And this was an internal document about how they were going to implement RGSP and what it means, and basically like how they can roll this out effectively. So here is the requirements that they wrote down. We need a mechanism advertisers can crack and that advertisers perceive as fair and logical. I'm willing to make some changes to our external documentation, but bonus points go to a mechanism that fits within the Help Center rewrite we just did. So they want to give advertisers the ability to understand randomization. The name of this document is Randomization We Can Explain to Advertisers. Pretty sure people know what randomization is, right? Like that's a pretty easy concept to get.
We knew what a lot of things were before this started, though.
But they want advertisers to perceive this as fair and logical.
Keyword.
Okay. So later down in the article, they have a bullet point that says, we don't want to say, quote, we randomize, unquote. That will have perception problems. To me, this is an inherent issue when the title of this is randomization we can explain to the advertisers, and then they say we don't want to say we randomize. So, okay. So it then goes on to say, what are some relevant things we communicate? And this is one that will keep me up at night, this first bullet point. And this is why it's so hard to explain anything, and this is going to drive you crazy. Apologies in advance. It says, the ad with the highest ad rank gets the highest position. In parentheses, auction position.
Not actual position.
Correct, because the auction position then gets randomized. So when they say the ad with the highest ad rank gets the highest position, you might think it's the highest position on the SERPs, but it doesn't mean that. It means it gets the highest auction position and then can go under RGSP. So by saying the ad with the highest ad rank gets the highest position does not mean it gets the highest position in the auction. It means that you have a chance of being the winner, but the runner-up can easily surpass that. So it doesn't matter.
They're intentionally misleading. They make it so hard on purpose.
But do you perceive it as fair and logical?
No.
Okay.
But the fact that they internally have to show that it is not the highest position, but instead it's auction position, and it's not the actual placement, this is maybe the most misleading thing I've ever seen. The ad with the highest ad rank gets the highest position should be something anybody can understand. But they have to put brackets around it and be like, oh no, it's not actually going to be where you end up. It's just you have the highest auction position, then you go under RGSP. It's so misleading, all this stuff. And then they say, we used to say you pay the minimum to beat the runner-up, unquote. But now we just say that, quote, your CPC is based on your competition and the ad rank thresholds, unquote. This gives us freedom to do things like configure pricing.
And we all knew this. We all knew this. Like you try to look something up to explain it to like a colleague or a client, and it's intentionally misleading, and the articles make no sense in the help center.
Even that rewrite they just did?
So anyway, there was more good incentives that they had internally, where they're going to say there's incentives for lower advertisers to bid up, but not to free ride. And they talk about how they bump the top one down, and then they give the top two something for free, which creates less incentive to raise bids. We need to account for these free bump up clicks by moving them down a position or part of the click cost curve. And then top two can potentially raise their bid, but get more clicks for no change in CPC. But then if they cross the bid to win top one, they'll get a click increase for a large cost increase. There needs to be smoothness for them here, and more clicks should lower ROI. They also wanted some of the good incentives to be easy to tune, with the ability to raise prices, shift the curve upward, or make it steeper at the higher end in small increments over time, aka inflation. And then again, that last one, I just have to say this one more time. We don't want to have to say we randomize. That'll have perception problems.
It's not random. It's not random. It's intentional.
Okay. So speaking of that intentional, there was another document where they were talking about just value and pricing. Everything will be over in the notes, linked over at community.marketingclock.com or newsletter.marketingclock.com. But they're talking about ad quality. And they said, most ad quality launches, in addition to trying to improve the value for users and advertisers, have some CPC or CPA component. We call this incidental pricing. We also directly affect pricing through tunings of our auction mechanisms. In general, through three levers that are format pricing, squashing, or reserves. We call this intentional pricing.
I feel like you need to, on your first day at Google, you just get a glossary. You need all of this explained to you.
And then in this document, again, about ad quality, they said, as a result, pricing on Google.com is happening in a semi-controlled, semi-organic way that might not be ideal. We worry about how these changes stack up over time for individual advertisers. We worry that this might eventually and unwillingly lead us to a state where advertisers are unhappy with their performance.
We've reached that state.
And we worry that this might lead them at some point to modify their spend on Google.com, possibly reallocating budget to other channels on time frames we can't track. So then just a couple more items from there. They were talking about some of their biggest concerns with all this tuning, pricing, squashing, reserves. And they said there's kind of really two biggest concerns that they had.
That it's evil?
No, that was not actually one of them.
They don't have to not
They
do
got
that.
rid of the do no evil a long time ago. So their biggest fear was that advertisers would be lowering their bids or modifying other settings, the use of match types, campaign pausing to get back to a given ROI, which everybody wants to do, but that was me saying it. And then they said leading to less revenue for the Google than the initial impact hinted to. So people are going to see all this intentional manipulation of price, and they're going to lower bids. And then the second biggest concern is that advertiser sentiment and perception of the product's performance degrading significantly enough that it leads to spend shifts away from Google, a clear loss, and arguably in a more permanent way. That should be the number one thing you do to run a business. And not only the fact that you should be worried about the negative, you should say, maybe you want to keep advertisers happy. Maybe you want to make a great product. There's not, I haven't seen not one iota of that in here. It's all about how do we keep them happy? How do we not use randomize? How do we, whatever.
How do we deceive is basically what they're saying.
Okay. And then in this ad quality document, they also were talking about the auction essentially, where they said it's useful to break down pricing launches and the changes they have on click and cost curves. A launch could be thought of as a combination of two different changes. So this is sort of how they think about some of these changes. One, changes that move advertisers along the click cost curve. These can be thought of as ROI changes, where we change the value given while prices are kept in italics relatively stable. And two is changes that modify the click cost curve. Example, move it up or down or stretch it. The prices for the same number of clicks changes. So, and then to that tweet that Jason put out there about people not understanding it, I just went through all these different ways that things are happening, right? And they're saying that you could be, let me use the exact verbiage on this. They said the ad with the highest ad rank gets the highest position, and then internally they have auction position. But again, that can be randomized. So that is, highest position is like, it's not descriptive enough for this. They should go to jail just for that. But this is how it reads from the auction page on Google Ads. And it's a stark difference, right? They say, here's how the auction works. When somebody searches, Google Ads system finds all those keywords, all whose keywords match that search. From those ads, the system ignores any that aren't eligible, like ads that target different country or disapproved based on a policy violation or any other reason they want something not to be eligible. More on that later.
It doesn't say that in here. That was Greg.
That was me.
Yep.
Then the verbiage says, number 3, of the remaining ads, only those with a sufficiently high ad rank may show. Ad rank is a combination of your bid, ad quality, the ad rank thresholds, the context of a person's search, and the expected impact of extensions and other ad formats.
Fluff. Word soup.
They don't talk about any of the other items in there. The squashing, the reserves, the tuning. And it is beyond deceptive. So that's where we're at. There's a whole bunch more. If you want to find out more, again, head on over to newsletter.marketingclock.com. And then this might be one of the best stories of the day. The New York Times has filed a motion with the court to open up the secrecy surrounding the antitrust trial. So this is supposed to be like one of the trials of the century, where it's the US takes on Google. There's like little snippets of information here or there, little pieces of evidence, a lot of stuff getting redacted, some things that are put online and then pulled back. Google must be spending a fortune on their lawyers and law fees.
All stuff they found in our cushions. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where it came from. And so the motion is being supported by Bloomberg, the Wall Street Journal, New York Post, MLX, and Law 360. And according to New York Times, they say sealing the courtroom is an extraordinary step in any case. In this litigation, perhaps the most important antitrust trial in decades, the stakes are especially high. Excluding the public from the courtroom not only impedes its ability to understand how this consequential case is being litigated, it also undermines the public's faith in its justice system. It is what we pay taxes for. Like, I want to be live. This should be live streamed.
Ooh, on C-SPAN?
No, they should live stream it on LiveLeak or Vimeo, anything other than YouTube.
That
something
might be
like
the nerdiest thing you've ever seen.
I'm trying to think of something other than.
You would be sitting there.
I don't want it edited. I don't want it
Just
censored.
have it on
Yeah.
TV.
With your Taylor Swift popcorn bucket. Just enjoying
You
it all
mentioned you
day.
couldn't sleep earlier. You could just put this on.
Seriously. No, I agree though. It really, the fact that we don't have access to any of this information is just crazy.
Now it's time for this week's Take of the Week. This is a #fire digital marketing take with extra spice served up for you. We simply deliver the take for your consumption. We give no opinions. We don't influence. You make the call.
I had 2 takes that I couldn't decide between. These are both take of the years.
Okay.
Whoa.
Okay.
Write that down for the
Contenders.
Clockskers shop.
Okay. So in case you haven't set something up, new conversion within Google Ads lately, they hide all the real ways to set up conversions. And they say, create conversion actions from website events. Boris Bekarek at Boris Bekarek on X tweeted this and said, you can add a conversion action and it's set to be at the page level, right? So you could be like, oh, send me somebody to my product page and you can make that a conversion action. This is a very poor way to set up conversions. You typically want further down the funnel conversions. And I've seen so many times people be like, oh, if you make it to view a product, that's a conversion. That is a terrible way to run ads in general. To which Menahem Ani at Menahem Ani on X responded to Boris and said, new thread dropping soon, all bold. Increase your conversions by 887% with this one easy trick. Fire emoji.
The trick is what? Change your conversion action to something
Terrible.
terrible?
He's making fun of all the PPC influencers
Well, of
out
course.
there. So.
We used to call them marketing bros.
Marketing bros. Okay, and here's another one. John Mueller from Google put out a X post that says, thinking about the Roman Empire. To which Mike Ryan quote tweeted and said, broad match? To which Josh Lebner responded to Mike Ryan and said, nah, that's exact match. Thanks to close variants.
What is this post even about, though?
Did John Miller respond?
He's not going to. He can't respond.
What was he doing in the first place? Don't open yourself up to that. Come on.
Well, that's very clever by Mike.
No, it is. But what is John doing?
You know the Roman Empire thing going around, right?
Oh, no.
Really?
Jessica Lee. Oh my God.
Shep.
Are we talking about it right now?
Sure.
This is like a month late.
5 hours later.
Can you briefly explain the Roman Empire thing?
Men think of the Roman Empire an odd amount of times, like in their life.
8 hours later.
I thought Roman Empire is supposed to be something you shouldn't be thinking about a lot, but you do think about a lot.
No, I would say it's abstract then. But I know that like people will.
Approximately 10 hours later.
So we're both right. People use it for
I
abstract.
feel like I
matter.
just talk about my Roman Empire more than other people.
Now it's time for this week's ICYMI.
ICYMI people.
This is something you just might not have seen. Maybe something that you overlooked, but you shouldn't have.
ICYMI people. Speaking of marketing bros, what is going on with Collin Slattery this week? This is actually a good tip, but he delivers it with a bro-ish swagger.
He tweeted this to get engagement, and he sure did.
If you need ads that require no asset, this is a series for you. We start off with a staple, us versus them. All you need is a photo of your product, a competitor that people recognize that you can allude to or outright call out if you want to be super aggro, and some reason why your product or service is better. There are so many ways you can do this, but the basic concept is an ad split down the middle with your competitor product on one side, preferably on the left, and your product on the other, and 3 to 5 key benefits your product has that the competitor does not. And then he lists some really actionable tips for how you can actually use this in your account. And this is an ad that we've all seen before, but having the tips here and how to set it up for yourself, just back to basics, I think is really helpful. And I love this one example he had in his slideshow, Greg Finn. Some would say your Roman Empire might be the amount of carbohydrates in any given food item. Did you know that 6.6 packs of ICYMI ramen, have you heard of that?
Yes,
is equal to 1 instant noodle when you're talking about net carbs?
Yes, because it's not my Roman Empire. I track all my food intake and I look at all my net carbs every day.
Thank you, Collin. Definitely give him a follow for more in this series at CJ Slattery on X.
Now it's time for this week's Pew Pew Lightning Round. At this point in the show, we split up our content into 3 parts: paid, organic, and social.
First up in the paid universe this week from Mike Ryan at Mike Ryan Retail. He says, didn't know this. Data exclusions only clean the CVR prediction, but the excluded data can still distort performance. This is another thing, like all those stories we were talking about in the beginning, like my brain isn't working. They wrote this to be intentionally like not make sense, and they don't want us to understand it. Data exclusions do not remove all automated bidding history. They only impact the predicted conversion rate. Your campaign will have fewer CPC fluctuations than if you hadn't excluded that data for that affected date range, but you should still expect some performance fluctuations. Make it make sense. Okay, next up. Joe at the Joe Schmo on X. He says, my best performing exact match keyword just got this. Warning, not eligible, low search volume. And then if you look at the performance data that he has in the screenshot, it got 25 clicks.
But by being not eligible, which there should be no world that you're not eligible because your search engine has low search volume. Maybe you go get some more search volume, search engine. But to say you're not eligible because we don't have enough traffic, that sucks. And then this is a very specific tactic that's being done by Google Ads, because as soon as they say something's not eligible, Performance Max can swallow it up. Other things can swallow it up. And then exact match doesn't have to show exactly for that term. And you can no longer have what's called an identical match. Again, this is like rocket science. I wrote an article on Search Engine Line about identical match. You can look it up. But if you're not eligible, Performance Max is going to come in and take it.
More brain melting information. Next up from Mike Ryan at Mike Ryan Retail. He has a chart from one of his accounts. He says, here's the impact on brand traffic after going from full PMax campaign to a feed only in the account. So he has this chart, and the X is kind of in the middle. And he says the X is where assets were removed, and then shopping is PMax. So the shopping line is like going up until the X. I'm assuming these are weekends when it's down. And then afterwards, it's down, but you can see the branded traffic line is picking up. So I guess if you are doing a shopping only PMax campaign, it could have less brand traffic in that PMax.
Yeah, and it's feed only. Feed only is how you get that done. So it's essentially like a smart shopping campaign. While they still let us do that.
Next up from at Cow Abundant, they were asking Ginny for more details on the Google Ads Data Manager announcement from last week. And Jenny responded and said, to start, it will be available in Google Ads under Tools. It's starting to roll out now and will become generally available in Google Ads in early 2024. Glenn Gabe alerted us to a new advertising package called Spotlight Moments for YouTube. The idea here is to leverage AI to automatically identify the most popular YouTube videos related to a specific cultural moment, like Halloween, a major award show such as the Oscars or or Clockskers, or a sporting event. For example, the advertiser would then be able to serve ads across video referencing the topic or event across a branded YouTube channel where videos are curated into dynamically updated playlists. I personally feel that this is all about trailer and trying to show ads.
Trailer?
Travis and Taylor.
Do you know who that is?
Yeah, he's a football dude. I saw him in the tabloids at Target.
So many advertisers are trying to do cute things to like capitalize on this moment. And like I've just noticed as I'm watching the stream that there's more Capital One ads with her or his like pharmaceutical ads. It's totally on purpose, and they're trying to do it for YouTube. From SCJ, YouTube is also expanding the availability of video reach and video view campaigns. Video reach campaigns use AI to distribute ads across YouTube's multiple video ad options, including in-stream, in-feed, and shorts to maximize reach and spend. That was me. Video view campaigns employ AI optimization to obtain more cost-efficient video views to drive brand consideration. I just don't necessarily trust YouTube using AI for ad placements. I have seen a lot of kids' YouTube channels recently, and the placements aren't always great. One time we were watching Blippi and there was a full-on like rap video, someone just trying to like get more views.
Yeah, they play the whole music video.
You know, get discovered, like don't knock the hustle. But like, I don't think they want their ad on during Blippi and they're like doing marijuana and stuff. You know what I mean?
Trocare College has my son. There was an ad during the Blippi and he keeps talking about how he's going to go to Trocare College someday to be a construction worker. He keeps asking me where it is. I don't know.
Wow. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it is going to work.
Yeah.
Next up from Fraser Andrews at PPC Fraser, morning thought. If we know that Google takes long-term value into pricing considerations, this is part of the DOJ stuff we've been talking about, that LTV, that was a revelation. Does this not make it super important to avoid regularly pausing activity? Example, Google thinks you'll spend less, so pushes LTV down. I mean, I guess, Fraser, but like that just makes me really mad because that's what they want us to do and they're winning.
I didn't even think about this. Fraser is on to something.
A rep recently said it to me because I have a lot of B2B clients, and they don't have monthly budgets. They, in Google Ads, so we pause campaigns every day sometimes when they hit a certain spend threshold because we can't set a true daily budget, whatever. And my rep says to me all the time, this isn't good for Google Ads. It's confusing, which is true, but like.
It's not just Google, though. LinkedIn says the same thing. They say anytime you pause a campaign, it just resets all the learning and everything. So
then give me a daily budget that actually works.
I'm just saying, Google sucks, but like so does everyone. I'm not
also,
saying don't pause
there
your
should be a
campaigns.
difference in because you could either be pausing ads with like scripts when you hit budget, things like that. Obviously, Google does not have a daily budget that works. That's fair. So that could happen. And then also, what about if you have something on weekends? We have one client where there is literally 30x sales on a weekday than a weekend. It just doesn't happen. It's B2B. And we have our ad schedule off on that. And it's probably impacting LTV, but I'd rather it impact LTV than spend money on nothing that'll come back. It just is. We cannot spend on the weekend profitably.
And you can spend more money during the week if it works. So in theory, Google should be happy with that because you're keeping your budget there because it's during the days.
Right. And then if we're on the weekend and we have like lower targets, is that going to count against LTV now? Like it's ridiculous. But that's good pickup by Fraser.
Next up from David Kyle at David Kyle, Google is testing some evil stuff on PMAX campaigns that cause the 2x rule to run wild with hyper-inflated bids, multiple days in a row on the historically worst performing days of the week. Pay close attention to your PLA data. Don't pay the squashed price. Good
I just love that these are now adjectives.
I know.
Squashed.
That we actually use. Okay, Anthony Higman found an article from August that is a doozy. It says, in November 2023, Google will update its policies to limit impressions in certain ad-serving scenarios that have a higher potential of causing abuse. Google may limit unqualified advertisers' ads when the relationship between the advertiser and the brand mentioned in the ad is unclear, or when generic ads with no branding at all are present. This is, again, they don't want us to understand this. Like,
we couldn't use text in like RDAs. Like that was like shunned. That and Discover, they're like, we can't use text. So like, what are you supposed to do?
I don't know. But apparently if you're a qualified advertiser, your ads will not be limited by this policy. So it's for like new people or people who are breaking rules a lot. Or maybe you just accidentally violated a policy violation for using the word get. Like that happened last year. I don't know. But I guess if you're a qualified advertiser, you shouldn't have to worry too much about this. But you should definitely follow Anthony Higman. How was that, Greg? That was good. Because this is important. Everyone should read it. But I don't think they want us to understand this either, to be honest. Julie Piccini posted on X this weekend. Alrighty, y'all, buckle up. I just read the latest Think with Google post, and whoo boy, do I have thoughts. Its premise is what AI can and can't do and what that means for marketers. Cool, cool, cool. Nice to see them acknowledging AI isn't everything. I'm not going to read this whole thread, but it is hilarious. Following Julie is such a joy. She read this whole thing, so you don't have to. But the first example is snack manufacturing giant Mondelez International. And it says they relied on human ingenuity to reimagine its entire marketing strategy. Julie said, silly Mondelez, relying on human ingenuity. Because they are. They're talking about how AI can't do everything for you, but then they're just constantly like dogging human ingenuity in this whole post. It's really stupid. And then she goes through the whole thing. She gives a lot of examples, but the punchline is every single brand is like a huge brand. So how are advertisers like you and me supposed to use this? It's a joke. It's OxyClean. and bear are the other examples. From Greg at PPC Greg. Oh, this is great. Greg Finn, did you see this one?
I CC'd
Quote,
you on X.
these stock images are based on your targeting and content from your final URLs. Stock images are free to use in Google Ads, and any watermarks won't appear on your ad. He says, ... What does Google think we do? Consider me triggered.
Oh.
The images available are a closed sign due to a pandemic. Some guy playing, like, it looks like a biz meme of some guy playing with, like, dominoes. Some pizzas shaped like Christmas trees. I believe this is shellfish, like a crabfish broil. And then the last picture is just a rat.
This business is very diverse.
I think you should give it a whirl, Greg.
So-
Throw the rat in there.
This is I would love to use cookie cutters to make little Christmas pizzas. That's a great idea.
Greg sometimes talks about, like, trying different things just to get cheap clicks on Google Ads, and he calls them rat
Oh, yeah, that's a
campaigns.
new thing I've picked up on.
Here you go. Maybe they're listening to you. From Anthony Higman again, why I don't like AI. I did a test to a call center through a Google Ads extension number. On this call, I said my pet's name was Spot. Now my teammate has Anthony Higman and Spot as my email when entered.
This Google AI is going to be great for those YouTube placements.
So in Gmail, somebody's typing in his email address and it says Anthony Higman and Spot.
And Spot's no longer with us?
No, he also felt the need to clarify, FYI, he doesn't have a pet named Spot. He was just testing him.
Well,
And then he got him again.
Sorry for your loss, Anthony. Pour one out for Spot for you.
That's all I got.
Well, there's one more thing in paid that just came through from PPC Greg at PPC Greg on X. PPC Greg says, Google Ad certification, new requirements in partnership with HonorLock. You need to take a picture of a photo ID for your Google Ad certifications. Take a picture of your face. Record a video of your test-taking environment.
No!
I'm not sure exactly what certification this is for, but it also says during the exam, a live proctor will monitor your activity via your webcam and screen sharing software. If the proctor notices any unauthorized behavior, they will pause your exam and message you. You will also be recorded during the exam for review purposes. These are the exam guidelines. You are not allowed to have open books. You are not allowed to have notes. You are not allowed to use scratch paper. You are not allowed to take restroom breaks. You are not allowed to use a handheld calculator. You'll have a calculator built into your test screen. You are not allowed to use headphones. You're not allowed to wear hats. You can take your exam in a public area without any people in the background. Moderate background noise is allowed.
Is this a freaking
SATs
joke?
allow more things than that. That's insane.
Wait, this is changing everything. Nobody's going to be certified.
My certification will forever be expired.
Yes.
I'm not certified.
Consider me
I've never not
uncertified.
cheated on that test. It's hard. It's
Are you
hard
kidding me?
because it's stupid.
I can't replicate it. I'm just reporting what PPC Greg is mentioning there. He's always right there.
I
I'm
was
gonna
pretty
get-
sneaky. I binged the answers instead of Googling them. You know?
Well, now you can't. Someone's going to see it. You can have your little computer. They're
guys,
just creating jobs.
And
for
that
these
is such a
proctors.
waste of like productivity for an agency because it's not valuable. Like it's not good.
No, it's cancer for your accounts.
Wow. That just changed my world.
We should.
Is that true?
That is what PPC Greg has a screenshot of.
Why can't you wear a hat? Might there be answers in your hat? Like
LTV.
what?
Squashing.
Oh man, no more junky
Seriously,
toys.
if we have to do that, there's
done.
no more
Absolutely
partner status.
not. No.
We already got kicked out of being a premier partner for spending more money on Google, doing better for our clients, but complaining about it. We got kicked out of it for that, and happily we'll drop that at a dime if employees have to be recorded taking their tests.
That's crazy.
All right. In big news here from Glenn Gabe, he talks about Google Explorer, which shows up more and more, especially on mobile. And he says 2 quick updates about Google Explorer, which is still the sneakiest mobile content feed that's displacing rankings in mobile search. And there was a video from Kushal Barani, and Glenn says, 1, Kushal is seeing product listings there, which is new to me. Just a heads up if you focus on e-commerce. And when checking a query based on digging into the October core update, I saw Explorer show up after just one scroll. So basically page 2 in the mobile SERPs. So for sites that got pushed to page 2 that are not in Explorer, you are gone. Totally gone. Poof. Beware. But yeah, they're pulling that in much more, the Google Explorer. And I see it all the time on mobile, so good luck. All right. Indented news. Google search officially stops indented results. Google search liaison Danny Sullivan confirmed Google stopped indenting search results a few weeks ago. According to Danny, we stopped doing indented search, especially with continuous scroll. It wasn't as helpful in the past. Okay. In core update news from Lily Ray, she has a few great charts about October 2023 core update. Some of her findings so far is that UGC sites, forums, and comment sections continue to surge, that Wikipedia is by far the biggest winner, the Oxford Dictionary is surging off the charts. It's got some coupon site dropping fast after gaining visibility. So if you want more, again, head on over to community.marketingclock.com or newsletter.marketingclock.com, or just follow at LilyRayNYC on X. And I can just no longer change my lens news. Google is calling out unnecessary age verification systems for teens and adults. Google published a framework for protecting kids online, and age verification systems aren't part of the proposal, according to Android Authority. So Android Authority goes on to say, Google has thrown its hat into the ring. The company published a document titled Legislative Framework for Protecting Children and Teens Online. In a blog post, Google summarized its thoughts on how technology companies should approach keeping kids safe in cyberspace. Interestingly, Google doesn't think identity and age verification systems are always the right move. Google says lawmakers should carefully consider whether requiring people to submit unnecessary identification or sensitive personal information is a good idea. You're asking to see the environment I'm taking a test in.
You want a picture of my face and my ID, and I can't wear a hat, but children.
This is like the number one thing you should do. Is, how old are you? Right? Okay.
21.
You said that you're 18. Cool. You can see this. If you're not 18, okay, you lied to this. It's still, how would you say that you don't want age verification? My lens now is just, they're going to try to show ads to whatever. They're going to try to monetize. That's all I can think of after seeing this DOJ stuff. And again, according to Android Authority, it seems that Google's take is that you design products appropriately and then the age verification isn't needed. I don't believe that whatsoever. But they say the best interests of children and teens, you need to build experience that holistically weigh considerations such as safety, physical and mental well-being, privacy, agency, access to information, and freedom of participation in society. So they don't want age verification. And to me, that's something creepy, or they want more money. Image news from Glenn Gabe over in SGE World. Google's AI-powered search experience can now generate images and write drafts. So they are rolling out to a percentage of SGE users and then expand to a wider base. So I tried it and it worked. This might be the worst image creation tool that I've ever laid hands on. I said, make an image of a couch getting its coin shaken out of it. There's a dog eating money and a cat puking on the floor.
Really big dog.
And the couch, and there's a picture of that same couch on the wall behind the couch.
I didn't even notice that. But I'm like, hey, try to make a picture of like a 3-year-old in a movie theater. And it wouldn't do it. And I'm like, make a picture of Taylor Swift at a football game. Wouldn't do it. And then you can't even have it iterate on the image. This is a terrible, terrible product in its current state. It might be the worst AI experience ever. In box news from Glenn Gabe at Glenn Gabe on Twitter, he started receiving comprehensive performance insights reports from Bing Webmaster Tools recently. He says, I'm sure it can get more site owners to check out the full report, which is the new search performance reporting in Bing Webmaster Tools. Look for it in your inbox. In brands and SGE news from Lily Ray at LilyRayNYC on X, she says she's seeing more examples of SGE pulling branded text directly from homepages, about pages, and other official company pages. So that's great. We saw a bunch of really bad examples with Nike when it first came out. And she says, pro tip, you can directly influence what SGE knows about your brand and your people by choosing your wording carefully in these places. All right. Interesting observation news from Lily Ray at Lily Ray NYC on Twitter. She says, an interesting example of a site that benefited from the HCU. And this was kind of a back and forth with Ian Howells. And one site really took off. And Ian responded to Lily and said, HCU is a negative signal, is the Google claim. But is it? All 20 or whatever the sites that used to be head of the skyrocketing Reddit thread all got a ding, and Reddit didn't get a boost for real? And the example is one page shooting to the top. And the HCU at this point is still supposed to be like a negative signal, not a boost. So that was the back and forth on it. If you're an SEO nerd, you'll like this. And so then Lily asked Danny and his @Search Liaison account saying, are you able to comment on this? Can you confirm the HCU did not actually include the boost in rankings for sites with hidden gems? Lots of data indicating that UGC content appears to have gotten a boost specifically during the HCU. Danny then responded, the work is still continuing and is not a part of this particular update. We'll share more about our work in this area in the future. There's no specifics in here. I take this as absolutely nothing.
That's like no comment.
The work is still continuing. He did not respond to her.
Nope.
In a usable way.
Nope.
So again, this is what you say. Oh, you get the top position. Okay. But it's really the auction position, not the actual number one placement in the ads. In design news here from @YouTube Liaison on X, there will now be animations that celebrate meaningful moments. So when a creator asks viewers to like or subscribe on YouTube, a visual cue on those buttons will appear in sync with the video. And once fans hit that button, a subtle explosion of playful sparkles will reward them.
Oh.
Awesome. All right. That's it in organic. What's happening in social, Bob?
In social news, see, I can do it too. More straight from the bird's beak @X on X posted. Gatekeeping allowed. Admins of private communities can now require people to answer a question first before being able to join. I don't hate this. Sentiment from users includes both sides, though. Some see how it could help weed out trolls, but if you're a real troll, you would gladly answer one question to get into a community and do your troll thing, as well as folks that are worrying about exclusion and discrimination. So one user said, thanks for this. In order to join the board games community, you need to tell me your favorite game and also your newest game in your collection. Greg, if you were in charge, I feel like Candyland would just be disallowed and there would be exclusion indeed. You like Candyland?
No, it's not the worst though.
Really?
Yeah.
What's the worst?
Monopoly.
We could just keep going, or I'll keep going. All right. In an effort to improve accessibility, TikTok will be implementing auto captions by default on all videos starting next month. This is already an option right now for users, but with the change, the allow auto captions toggle that you might be used to seeing is going to be removed from the upload process, but users will still be able to edit or delete the captions after posting. It's just going to happen automatically for you. Meta announced this week some simplifications to how users can manage their personal info across their apps. They said they're making it easier to manage your information by moving several settings into the account center. So it's just one place where you can adjust those settings. You can also download your information and access your information from the account center. And activity off Meta Technologies, formerly known as off Facebook activity, and transfer your information will now work on Instagram and live in account center as well. So some changes there from a user perspective. Next up, from @MediaGazer said, Instagram head Adam Mosseri has reiterated Threads' position on hard news, saying Threads does not intend to amplify news because it's too risky for now. This is in reference to a piece in TechCrunch that expands on Mosseri's comments and the context around it. The TLDR is that Threads is interested in empowering creators of all kinds overall, rather than leaning into news in a way that would essentially position it as a true one-to-one alternative to the expert. I feel like everybody sees them as two different things and are kind of discounting Threads as an alternative to Twitter or X anyway. And that seems to be okay with Meta. Mark Zuckerberg had some comments too. He said he always thought you could create a discussion experience that wasn't quite so negative or toxic. Doing so would be more accessible to a lot of people. He also said that Threads wants to be a more positive, friendly place for discussion.
And this is the death strike for Threads. The fact that they're not going to amplify news because it's too risky, that is an incredible statement. That news is too risky. What do you don't understand why quick communication and sharing of news is why X now is so popular because you can inform people. And if you're saying that now you're not going to amplify news because it's too risky, now you are not letting people share their occurrences. Threads is dead. This is a terrible way to go about it.
They're going to allow news. They're just not amplifying it. They're not leaning into it.
But what does that mean, though?
We don't know right now.
Right? Like, so something that would have been shared by somebody with a big following, now, if it's news-based and it's something that's too risky because it's talking about some atrocities happening, it's not going to be shown to those people, right?
Theory, yeah.
Get rid of this thing. Just get rid of the platform.
So we'll see. And they are working on making it a better place. They can compete in one way. They have a free edit feature. You don't have to pay for premium features to be able to edit a thread. Congratulations, rejoice. They're rolling out the ability to edit posts on threads for up to 5 minutes after publishing, as well as audio messages that is dubbed as voice threads. Great name. I know. Nobody cares. You might care about this, though. According to Social Media Today, Threads is also getting close to a full launch of the paid partnership label on posts, which opens up a lot of opportunities for creators. And there's speculation, obviously, that then ads will come next. So that could be something. Last up here, just an FYI from Andy Stone of Meta Communications at Andy M. Stone on X. He posted Meta statement on concerns about the visibility of stories. We identified a bug impacting all stories that reshared reels and feed posts, meaning they weren't showing up properly in people's stories tray, leading to significantly reduced reach. This bug affected accounts equally around the globe and had nothing to do with the subject matter of the content, and we fixed it as quickly as possible. This was posted on the 15th, so if you experienced a drop, hopefully you're no longer feeling that anymore, and I am just really not feeling this anymore. So that is it for social. And that brings us to our real life segment, straight out of our accounts and into your ear holes. It's time for Working Hard or Hardly Working, where we talk about what's going on in our IRL work, good, bad, or otherwise.
I think I've mentioned this before, but I think I've had 2 babies since then, and I just can't believe that this is still a thing, and it will probably never change. In Microsoft Ads Editor, the categories for bid estimates are first page bid, mainline bid, best position bid. Then, when you go to make bulk changes based on those bid estimates, you can raise bids to their first page bid estimates or raise bids to their top of page bid estimates, which is mainline. Why don't you use the same word? And then there's no option to raise it to best position or above all other ads. Why won't you let me give you my money?
Well, it's probably randomizing.
And then online, they have totally different words for it. Like, they don't say mainline, I don't think. It makes no sense.
I don't believe that anybody in any of these teams has ever used their products. I really don't.
No.
Like, when you're trying to filter in Google Ads, it's campaign name. When you're trying to do an ads editor, it's name. None of it makes sense. Anybody that's ever used a platform would be like, oh, we got to make the changes quick. No. They don't use it. They don't care. They're just sitting there trying to figure out squashing, tuning, and shaking and all that. Just another thing that seems like all the value was squashed out of it is I used to enjoy max conversion bidding on Google.
Enjoy.
I did. Or max conversion value bidding. It's gone wild. It's gone absolutely bananas. And you used to be able to say if you had a really low budget, it would stay within that threshold. You could get some cheaper clicks. You could still have that smart bidding optimization flair towards a conversion. That's gone. I had one client where we were just doing a little test here. It was like $10 a day or something like that for some broad match terms. I was like, oh, maybe we'll be able to get a lot of clicks. One click was $78. And it's like, this doesn't work. The whole point is you're supposed to maximize the conversion value from a certain budget. So if you're having problems with it, switch to TROAS, switch to TCPA.
And if you are doing trainings and or meetings and your team is all on site, try switching to doing it in person. I feel like we have made a major shift, obviously, post-pandemic, where everyone is just on webcams all the time. That's really helpful if you're remote. But we have started we do a lot of trainings here at Cypress North and a lot of internal meetings. And we've shifted towards using community spaces, bringing people together. And we really find that even if they were at their desk and seem like they're paying attention, they might be distracted by an email that comes in or a Slack message or just not really fully there. And so we've transitioned quite a bit to doing things more in person, and people are more engaged and they're getting more value out of it. So something to consider if you have that option. And now for this week's
Cool tool.
As a reminder, our Cool Tool segment is not an official endorsement or paid mention. We're simply sharing something we found in our travels that may be of use to our listeners. And is really, really cool.
This week's Cool Tool is a sample report for PPC cohorts. From the Looker Studio team, it is the Google Ads Search Auction Insights dashboard, which is built in, you guessed it, Looker Studio. It is a 6-page template that is pre-built, people. All you have to do is connect your own data sources, and like magic, you'll be able to see auction insights segmented and visualized by day, device, various levels of granularity within your campaign structure. It's great. It might be perfect for you out of the box, or it's just a good starting point for tweaking to your needs. So you should definitely check it out, team paid. As always, we'll have the link in our newsletter as well as on Discord. That's newsletter.or community.marketingclock.com respectively. Pick your poison and check it out.
Now it's time for our must-read marketing article of the week. An article so advanced, so in-depth, so detailed that we simply cannot cover it in its entirety on today's show.
This week's must-read marketing article of the week comes from the one, the only, Mike Ryan, winner of Take of the Week this week. He has a post called Hot PMAX Questions, Best Campaign Setup, Reporting, Incrementality, and more. And Mike essentially crowdsourced all the different questions that people have for him about PMAX and turned it into one giant article. It talks about how to choose the right campaign type, PMAX feed-only versus full build approach, audience signals in PMAX, product segmentations for PMAX, reporting, tips for measuring, strategies for testing, and then the final word. Why does PMAX raise so many questions? And you can get all the links from today's show over on newsletter.marketingclock.com or community.marketingclock.com. Thank you, Mike.
And now on to our playlist of curated songs to work to. You can see Marketing a Playlist at playlist.marketingclock.com. I will be adding Love is Embarrassing by Olivia Rodrigo. Jess, what will you be adding?
None Shall Pass by A$AP Rock.
Greg?
Mariana Cross by Ghost.
All right, that does it for today's show.
It is now officially not Marketing O'Clock.
Thanks for listening.
We miss you already.
Can't wait to see you next week.
Thanks for listening to Marketing O'Clock. If you're looking for more information on today's topics, head over to marketingoclock.com/newsletter to receive every single article we covered. We share the news as it breaks in our Discord community. Head over to community.marketingoclock.com to join.
Welcome to this week's Shootin' the Heck. We're after our famous Friday news show. We don't talk about marketing anymore. We just
shoot the heck.
And today, Jessica Lee has a game for us.
I do. It's everyone's favorite. It's Would You Rather, and it is the public places edition of the game. Tables and I had an interesting conversation with Kristen from our data department earlier about would you rather stick your hand in a trash can that's in a kitchen or a bathroom, and it just spiraled from there. The answer, by the way, is kitchen.
Correct.
Yeah. So that's an easy one, so we won't do that. But I have a couple other brain busters for y'all. We'll start easy. Would you rather have to confront a server about a grossly inaccurate order or confront a stranger for cutting you in line?
I would rather confront the stranger because, like, the server is probably an honest mistake and that stranger is just, like, a bad person.
Server. That's your job. Like, you're coming here to be served. If you can be polite about it, you don't have to be an a-hole. You can just say, like, hey, I'm so sorry, I ordered something totally different than this, you know, blah, blah, blah. Like, because the problem is if somebody cuts you in line, especially if it's a big line, you're there with them for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, they should get to the end of the line.
In theory. But what if they don't?
You call the police. Citizens
Same with the
arrest.
server. Yeah, same with the server.
Call the police. I don't know. One time I just didn't get a pickle with my grilled cheese, and I was like, excuse me. I was supposed to get a pickle, and apparently I sounded really witchy, and I didn't like that for myself. But I am not if somebody has the audacity to cut you in line, I'm not messing with them. I'm afraid of it. So I'm with you, Greg. Would you rather sing karaoke in a full bar or be on the Jumbotron?
Well, actually, both are really fun.
They're both my worst nightmare.
I have no problem with either.
Okay, so would you rather?
Probably the Jumbotron.
Really? You're a karaoke lady.
I know, but like my pipes are a little rusty. Like,
I'm Jumbotron. Like, you don't want to hear me sing, and especially if I'm in a game, my kids are probably there. I'll just do something like super embarrassing, like start doing like a sprinkler or something.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know,
see
like
that?
you can just just cheese it up.
I just feel like I want to sink into the background of both those situations. So
Unless it's a Jumbotron where they have like kiss cam and they like put like
The wrong
like match
person?
you with like somebody.
Does
you're
that
sitting
really
next to.
happen,
No,
though?
It never happens. Those are all fakes.
really?
Yeah.
If
they're
you were
all
like
fake.
there
I
with
think
your
they
mom
like
or
ask
something?
the people.
No, I will say probably 15% of Jumbotron videos you see are fake or pre-planned.
Oh, really?
Really?
Yeah, like, you know, somebody will be like, start dancing and then like going up and down the stairs and like sliding down and stuff.
I
But
always
it's
just
just
assume
like-
that's a brave person.
No, that's a plant.
No, I don't think they're like a paid actor. It's just like
somebody
a cute
in the organization.
kid.
No. Tables. You've seen all these videos.
I don't agree.
No, you look at them and somebody starts small and they keep the camera on and then they take their shirt off, then they go down the stairs and are like, it's pre-planned. What do you think?
I mean, I think, yeah, there's a certain extent of them that are definitely pre-planned, but there are some like gems that are caught on the Jumbotron that seem like they just organically happen.
And the best ones are kids. You think the kids are paid plants?
No, but I'm telling you, when somebody has a routine that they do, that's a paid person.
Well, there was a lady in the
100%.
news recently. Is that what you're thinking?
My favorite one is when they have the kiss cam and it's somebody that is like at a game that they shouldn't be with somebody else and they're like, and they just like pretend they don't know them.
Does that happen?
Yeah, I've seen that.
That's so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
All right. Would you rather be the owner of an inconsolable child on an airplane or have your cell phone go off during a funeral service?
Oh, no. Oh, no.
I'm funeral service. They're
Really?
dead. What do they care?
Well, everybody else
The
just like
family
looks at you.
cares.
It's
No,
so
you
wrong.
just mute it quick and then you just quick look around like with a mean scowl on your face.
I don't know, as somebody that can never get it right to unmute really or to mute really fast, like I would rather just kids cry. People know that it sucks, but I
It's
don't.
torture,
Yeah.
No, because you're on like that's a 1 second problem of like a quick noise versus a 7-hour flight. No thanks.
I don't know. I just feel like you should have your phone on silent, and that's on you.
And
You
also
just
the
look bad.
kid, it's like, oh, they're a kid. Like their ears probably hurt. But at the funeral, it's like you have no one to blame but yourself.
That's what I mean.
And if you're inconsolable the entire flight, probably a bad parent, I'd say.
Not necessarily.
Probably.
Depends
though.
on the flight. Like,
I mean, you should have tricks up your sleeve to be like, oh look, here's a yogurt, or oh here's like
you can't
a
just
game.
bring yogurt
here's
on the
metallic
plane.
blocks or something.
You never know what people are dealing with.
I know, but
Have you ever had your ears just like not pop the whole time?
yeah,
It's
but I take my kids
terrible.
on the plane with gum, and I have them do all these different activities.
You can't give
Good
gum to a
parent.
baby. Bad parent.
True. Can't give gum to a baby. Okay. Do you have any more?
I got one more if you want to get gross. Would you rather run out of toilet paper in a public restroom or wipe your face with a used napkin from a stranger?
What?
This has happened to me so many times. The strangers come up to me and say, "You look sweaty, sir."
I just mean like you're eating chicken wings, there's no napkins, and somebody's like, this is all I got, but I used it. You're out of paper products in both situations, and you need to tag in a friend that
I
you've
guess
never
the
met.
stranger.
Are we talking about one or two?
Well, you wouldn't use
Yeah.
toilet paper
I'm
for
just
one
asking.
as a
I'm
man.
just- I'm just
So,
clarifying
you
the
know
question.
what? Number 2.
Okay,
I'm going with the stranger.
Stranger napkin?
I'm going stranger napkin. I don't care about germs. Like unless is it like super dirty or something?
Yeah, so you're
Is there,
at
like-
a wing joint.
Okay, is there like visible like Ebola?
For
on
sure.
there?
Yeah, well, I don't know about visible Ebola, but it's orange.
Do we need to bleep that?
I don't know. Okay.
Really? I would way rather just like ask somebody to pass me toilet paper, clean toilet paper under a stall.
Oh, I didn't know that was an
Yeah.
option.
I said you got to ask a friend.
oh, no
A friend?
problems.
Well, a stranger in the bathroom
Yeah,
becomes
This is
your
nobody's.
friend.
This is
No biggie.
nobody's favorite game. Just
Well,
for the record,
listen.
Shep, right? Am I right?
You're so mean when other people are in charge of this. I support Jess.
Thank you, Shep. I tried.
I thought that was a great game. It really makes you think. And we'll see you next week.